This is Gary from our SalesforceAdmin.com. Today we're going to talk about creating a custom object. You may know that objects, as defined in Salesforce, basically are the tabs that you see at the top here. So these are called objects. So when we're using the word object, we're talking about a placeholder for data in Salesforce. So the first thing we want to do, let's create a custom object. Let's go to Setup. Then you want to come down to Create, and we're going to create an object. So here we go. So you click the new custom object, and we'll call this cool test object. So you type in the label, and they ask you to do singular and plural, just so it gives you the right nomenclature. It's my favorite word. So we'll put that in there, and you could type a description here of what the object is. So this is basically where you'll put information on what type of data that you're gathering. So we're going to place this object in the accounts object underneath. All right. So here it auto creates, it can auto create a number if you like when it creates information in the object, and you'll see what that means later. Or you could do text. So if you're creating new data for a particular opportunity, you may want to do that as text. Or if you want a date, for example, here's some of the formatting that you could have with the numbers, and that will tell you all about it and how to format that if you want to go with auto numbers, maybe a date or something like that. In this case, we're just going to use text to simplify things. And of course, we want to allow reports, activities, and track field history, because we want to be able to run reports off of this data that we're gathering in a custom object. And we want notes and attachments on there, so maybe we can work directly from that object, much like we would an account. And we'll just save this. All right, so as you can see, this is all the information pertaining to that object. So you're going to have things in here such as your fields and your page layout for this particular object that we've created. But the first thing we want to do is associate this object with another object. So for example, we're going to make this object where it sits in the account so that we can add additional information in the account object as well. So the first thing we have to do is create that master detail relationship. So you'll see that as one of the field objects, master detail relationship. And over to the right, it just tells you a little bit about what that means. But we're going to click on that, and we're going to create this relationship. So it's going to ask me, what is this related to? So here are all your objects that you currently have in the Salesforce org. And I'm going to select accounts, because that's where we want to put it. So once that's done, I'm just going to type account again as a field name for this, and a brief description. And this help text below that is pretty cool too. So if you have users and you want them to know what this field is capturing or what you need in this data field, you just type that in so that when they hover over the little information icon right there, it's going to display that on the field. So anytime you create a field in any object, you have that option. Alrighty, so I'm going to make it read write, and I'm going to go to next. Now here you're going to choose which profile, what permissions they have. So we're going to make this visible to all our profiles. You can also do read only if you have particular profiles that you wanted to restrict. And we're going to create that relationship. Alrighty, so there it is. So let's travel over here. Let's save this. So you see right there, there's the field, and you could add additional fields as well. So this is basically where you define your data set that you need. So you can select pick list, currency, check boxes, email addresses, phone numbers, etc. For this example, I'm just going to do a text field, just so we'll have something to show data. Let's see. Get this data. It's my field name. All right, and we'll make it just standard 25 length. I won't worry about that right now. We're not going to make it required. And hit next. Again, we have to define field level security for this particular field. All right, and I'm just going to go with the default here. Save. All right, so you can add as many fields as you need there. The other thing you have is the page layout of the object. So this works much like you would change the page layout on a lead or a contact or an account. You have the same functionality here where you can move around data, wherever you want, create sections, add related lists, and so forth. So I'm just going to save that. Okay. So let's look at anything else we need to know about on this particular tutorial, but you have all the other features here. You can, customize your search layouts, add a record type for this particular object. Down here you see your object limits, what type of limitations you have to how many fields and so forth. Okay. So why don't we travel over to an account, and I have created this one. Close my chatter. And let's go all the way down to the bottom. It places it here. So here's the object that I've created. So I click on new and I can name it. So say for example, I did a text, so I want to name it, whatever the opportunity is or whatever the data set represents here, right? So I'll just type the opportunity and there's my field I created, get this data. This is the data and I'm going to save that. Right? So let's go back down. Well, here it is. Here's the cool test object, the opportunity. So there's my data. Right? So let's go back to the account, and down at the bottom you'll see where it created that data set for this particular account. So what you'll be able to do from that, of course, is run reports, because remember we checked the little reporting button there, but that's another tutorial on creating report types so it can see that custom data. Okay, well, I think that about wraps it up, and I hope you enjoyed this. Hope it helps, and always shoot me an email at Gary, Gerry, at rsalesforceadmin.com if you need additional help.